Alright, good evening folks, it's Enforcer Matt and welcome back to another short war video, and today we have very big news coming out of both Ukraine and also the Middle East. But by far our biggest story of the day is coming out of the state of Georgia, which borders the Russian Federation, and we're witnessing a possible coup attempt underway because today is when Georgia holds their parliamentary elections, which will decide whether or not Georgia takes a pro-Western direction or if they take a pro-Russian direction. And today we're seeing Putin's thugs running around the state of Georgia trying to stuff ballot boxes. Also, riot police are being deployed, and it looks like a situation is going down right now inside of Georgia, which is certainly not good. And we're also seeing major attacks taking place on the Russian mainland, to include the oil facility at Ryzen apparently being attacked by Ukrainian drones, and also a major attack at the Lipetsk airfield, which houses a lot of Russian aircraft. So certainly not a good day for Russia whatsoever. And also, we have very big news coming out of the Middle East about the Iran response to Israel's attack, as well as the damage caused by Israel's attack last night on Iran. But with that, we're jumping into our first article of the day, which goes to the Kyiv Post. And in what is by far our biggest story of the day, we're seeing videos from Georgian social media reportedly showing riot police of the Russian-backed regime being moved into Tbilisi, which is the capital of Georgia, likely in preparation for the public outrage to ensue from today's openly fraudulent parliamentary elections, according to the Kyiv Post. And this comes as the former president of Georgia warns that Russia plans an imminent seizure of the country. So let's take a look at the video and see the riot police being moved in as the former president is warning that Russia plans to do some mayhem in their election. And right here you can actually see there are some buses being brought in here to, it looks like a government square in Tbilisi, and that appears to be blacked out windows on the buses, and also they appear to be gray, and I can't really tell what the writing is on the side, but it looks like those are indeed the riot police being moved in these large buses, and also a sprinter van in the back, which indicates they are preparing for something to go down, probably in large numbers, because this is a lot of riot police being moved in these buses. So certainly not a good sign for stability in Georgia, and we're watching this very closely. But also, we have some more news here in our next one, which is also from the Kyiv Post, and apparently, in what is appearing as part of a full takeover of the Georgian government, a mob of thugs from the Russian-backed ruling regime are violently invading the headquarters of the opposition party United National Movement inside of the state of Georgia. So let's take a look here. We're seeing a massive mob and riot happening outside of this party headquarters, which is certainly not good. These appear to be Putin's thugs out here trying to terrorize the other side. So let's take a look. Alright, so as we can see right here in the video, that was the party headquarters over there where all those people were standing outside, and those are allegedly the pro-Putin thugs terrorizing them right outside the building. As you can see, they're also going up and down the street here, and they're trying to cause havoc and also fear on the other side, and that's why they're doing this. So once again, not a good sign for stability, and also it shows that violence could take place in Georgia even worse than it already has if they do not get their way. So this indicates some interference by Russia in these elections right here, and we really don't know the full extent of it just yet, but it's certainly visible for all of us to see right there. But nonetheless, moving into our next post here, this one's going to go to Visegrad 24. And not only are we seeing mobs form outside of opposition headquarters, we're also seeing supporters of the pro-Russian government in Georgia are now stuffing ballot boxes at the polling stations, and apparently they violently assault the person who filmed their cheating. And also, like I said earlier, the parliamentary elections today decide whether Georgia will move in a pro-Russian direction or a pro-Western direction, and that's why this is so contentious and so important. And right now, according to what we're seeing here, there is some open interference by apparently Putin's thugs, according to Visegrad 24 and also the Kyiv Post. So this is not good, and with the former president giving that warning that Russia plans to seize the state of Georgia, that could be a very big cause for concern, and we're going to watch this very closely because this is a very big deal if Russia decides to seize that country. But nonetheless, we're moving into our next post here, which goes to Jason J. Smart. And in this post right here, we're learning that apparently Russia is also having its own anarchy right now in mainland Russia. We're seeing riots take place for days now as anarchy is spread over Chelyabinsk in mainland Russia, as locals are setting fire to businesses and committing other acts of social delinquency. And also the question being asked here by Jason J. Smart is, where are the authorities? Apparently they're not here, and that's because they're currently all deployed occupying Ukraine, and Russia does not even have enough soldiers to put down the riots here in Chelyabinsk. So let's take a look at the video and see the extent of the violence and damage being caused by the rioters. And right here in the video, you can see a large building on fire. It looks like this was apparently an arson, at least according to the media in the area, and that building is coming down because that is a humongous fire, and I also don't see any firefighters nearby either. So this was allegedly the result of riots taking place in Chelyabinsk because the civilians are unhappy with the Putin regime, and also they're unhappy with the war in Ukraine, or at least that's according to the public reports and anecdotes from the rioters inside of Chelyabinsk. So certainly not going good for Russia today as these riots are spreading from Chelyabinsk to the surrounding areas. But nonetheless, we're moving on to our next post here, which is going to go to PSO1. And in addition to the riots, which are giving Russia a very hard time over there, we're also seeing some major attacks taking place from Ukrainian drone attacks. And right now, Lipetsk was under attack this morning, and Ukrainian UAVs were witnessed over the city. And also, it notes here in the post that Lipetsk also hosts a large military air base about 300 kilometers from Kharkiv. And that is going to be very important in just a moment because we allegedly have some anecdotes and also footage showing the attack on the Lipetsk air base, but we're really not sure as to the extent of the damage just yet because we have not gotten those videos of the damage to the aircraft. But nonetheless, let's take a look at some of these videos. And right here in this video from Lipetsk, we can hear a drone in the background and also some air raid sirens as well. And also, you can barely hear it in the background, but there are some more drones popping up on the audio. The audio is very faint, it's really hard to hear. But they are indeed back there. And also, this person is filming from their house inside of Lipetsk. And as you can see, we can't see the drone from this footage, but in the next one, we can see the evidence of the drone coming in. So taking a look at our second video here, this one's also going to show some air raid sirens and also the drones coming in. As you can see, this appears to be a construction worker in Lipetsk, and he's standing on top of a building as it looks like traffic is flowing as normal. So as you can see there, a lot of anarchy happening inside of Lipetsk right now, and obviously these videos don't show the extent of the drone damage, and also it does not show the drones at all, because that's going to be in our next post here. But moving on to that next post, this one goes to Osent Yuri, and it also mentioned right here that the unidentified drones were flying in the area of Lipetsk, also around Lipetsk as well, and there was chatter of the target of the drones being the Russian airfield outside of the city of Lipetsk, and once again, that will be very important in just a moment. And also, speaking of the juicy targets there at the airfield, there are ammo and fuel dumps, also Su-35s at the base, which are used by the Russian Knights aerial demonstration team. At least they were wearing the livery of that team. So let's take a look at the video here as well to show more evidence of the drones coming in. So right here, the guy was going to give us a good view of his nose real quick. But anyways, right there you can see a drone coming into Lipetsk, and that is it. And you can barely hear it in the background. I know people are saying, oh, well, stop talking so I can hear the drone. You can barely hear it. So it's probably not going to be picked up on the OBS audio anyway. But as you can see, there was a drone coming into Lipetsk, and that fella right there is proving that with his footage. So more evidence of that. But also, by the way, here are all the aircraft at the Lipetsk Air Base, by the way. A lot of aircraft there all the time, pretty much. And it is a training facility. So that is very interesting to see, because moving on to our next post here, this one is going to go to Nexta, and we're also seeing that a local correspondent, and also make sure you put parentheses around that, correspondent, reports that Ukrainian drones have allegedly attacked the Lipetsk airfield inside of Russia. So let's take a look right here. And also, this person's going absolutely crazy in the background. But as you can see, there is a large fire. I'm going to have to go ahead and mute them as they're going berserk. But there's a large fire out here in the distance, and that is allegedly the Lipetsk air base being hit by those Ukrainian drones, which we just saw in the last footage. So this is a very early attack, by the way. It just happened a short while ago, so we do not have any footage from the Russian side showing the damage in the area. But I suspect that will be coming out here very shortly, and hopefully there were some juicy catches by the Ukrainians by hitting that air base. But moving into our next post here, this is actually some more information about the Lipetsk air base, and to show you the importance of the facility. Once again, it's located outside of the Lipetsk Oblast, about 12 kilometers northwest of Lipetsk. It's the Chief Combat Training Center of the Russian Airspace Forces, and it's also analogous to the United States Air Force Nellis Air Force Base. So if you're familiar with the U.S. Air Force, you'll know how important Nellis actually is. This is the equivalent of Nellis, which is the Lipetsk Air Base. So with it being hit, this is a very big deal, deal for the Ukrainians to actually strike this. And also, like you see over here in the photo, there have been a lot of different aircraft of the Russian Air Force stationed at this base. So we'll have to look and see what just happened with that attack when it comes out later tonight on our stream. But with that, we're jumping into our next article here, which goes to Max 24. And to make matters even worse for Russia, we're not just seeing the Lipetsk air base being attacked, we're also seeing the Ryzen oil refinery, which is in Ryzen inside of Russia, obviously, has been attacked by Ukrainian drones as well, at least according to the residents there, and we have video evidence to show as well. So let's take a look. And oh no, that is not good for Russia. That looks like the Ryzen oil refinery facility out there in the distance on fire, or at least from what I can tell, and also what the residents are saying. Today is a very bad day for Russia. Once again, this also just happened with the Lipetsk air base attack. We do not have up-close footage of the facility on fire, but today is not a good day for the Russian Federation, and they deserve every bit of it. But nonetheless, we're moving on to our next post here, which is going to go to Nexta. And in this post right here, we're actually learning more information about the North Korean troops which have been sent to Russia. That is still an ongoing story. And according to Nexta, Bloomberg is reporting that North Korea is to send a second batch of military personnel to Russia, and it's reported that a total of about 10,000 DPRK soldiers will arrive in Russia, and the first group of 1,500 soldiers is already undergoing training in the Far East. And also the publication notes that Western countries cannot influence this, but can increase support for Ukraine and strengthen partnerships in the Pacific. So it goes without saying that this is certainly not good. First of all, it was bad when North Korean troops showed up whatsoever inside of Russia, because that is a new manpower source which Ukraine cannot afford Russia to have right now. But certainly it's not good that North Korea has decided to already send a second batch of personnel to Russia this quickly. They literally just got done with the first batch, and now they're already sending a second. So once again, the West really hasn't made any commitments yet to respond to this. We have heard their acknowledgement of it, but once again, no commitments whatsoever by NATO, the West, or any other alliance to actually step in and help Ukraine in this very disturbing crisis which they're now encountering with the North Korean troops showing up. So I'm not sure what we're going to do about this, but once again, North Korea is jumping in to the deep end of the pool and sending a second batch even very quickly right now. So not good, and we're going to be watching that story also very closely. But with that, we're moving into our next article here, which goes to Emmanuel Fabian. And we're going to be jumping and switching gears real quick to cover the Israeli news from the Middle East, also the Iran attack last night, because once again, last night, that attack just happened. Israel launched a major attack on Iranian facilities, the military facilities, throughout the country of Iran, and also specifically in Tehran. So that just happened less than 24 hours ago, and we just got footage that the IDF released showing a video of F-15 fighter jets and also F-16s heading out to carry out last night's strikes in Iran. So also, if you watched our stream last night, the Enforcer and me were debating what was the aircraft that we saw over the skies of Jordan heading out to attack Iran, and I said it was the F-35, and the Enforcer thought maybe it was an F-16. So he actually turned out to be correct. So he doesn't even know this yet, and he'll find it out tonight on the stream. So very interesting, but let's take a look at the video. And as you can see right here, the Israeli pilots are getting into their F-16s and also F-15s, and they are buckling up and getting ready to go out on their missions here. And once again, this was a very highly planned mission. It was planned ahead of time, and we were even told by Israeli sources that apparently they were going to postpone it indefinitely, but that turned out to be a psyop that they were conducting on Iran to give them some misdirection and also throw them off so they wouldn't be totally ready for their attack. Also, by the way, I'm going to pause the video real quick because I really like that chicken hawk up there on the wing of this F-15 right here. So very interesting. But anyways, there it is lining up. It's getting ready to take off here in just a moment, and that thing is going to be heading out. But once again, the significance of the video is to show that F-15s and 16s were involved in this attack last night, and apparently no F-35s were involved in it. So very interesting to see. But nonetheless, we are moving on to our next post here, which goes to OSINT Defender. And we're also learning more about the targets that were hit and also the aftermath of the damage that was conducted by these airstrikes by Israel. And apparently a factory complex within the Shamsabad industrial city to the southwest of Tehran suffered significant damage as a result of last night's missile attack, with the factory targeted and believed to have been involved in the development of production of military drones. So this facility, while we're taking a look at the video here, was hit by Israel last night. So let me go ahead and take the audio down and also enlarge the video so you can see it. And as you can see right there, it looks like significant damage to that Iranian facility, which allegedly produced drones for the IRGC. So a very big loss right there, and it turns out that was actually one of the biggest targets last night of the attack by Israel. They did not target the nuclear facilities, which was expected by some. They did not target that. And also, let me mute that audio real quick. But they did not target the nuclear facilities, and they ended up targeting the missile facilities and also the drone facilities instead. But with that, we're moving on to our next post, which goes to the Israel war room. And just to reiterate what Israel actually attacked last night, the senior Israeli sources here say that they struck Iran's ballistic missile manufacturing facilities and destroyed multiple air defense systems, and they specifically noted the Iranians failed to make any significant interceptions, and their mission was fully completed on Israel's side. So once again, we saw last night the air defense consisted of Gush guns, and it didn't appear to have any advanced air defense inside of Tehran or around the country of Iran. It sounds like they were having a very hard time shooting down the incoming missiles that Israel was firing from their F-15s. So certainly a big failure on the Iranian part. I will say this though, the Israeli attack seemed to be pretty muted compared to what we were expecting and was not as severe as we thought. So right now, we're currently waiting to see what the Iranian response is going to be, because right now we really don't know, but we're getting some clues here, which we're going to get into in our next post, which goes to Apex News. And as is being reported by ABC, it remains unclear if Iran will choose to retaliate, says an Israeli security official. So right now, we're hearing some differing reports. I've actually heard some reports, not naming a source, but saying that Iran's already communicated through ambassadors that they do not intend to respond. And also, I'm seeing some people saying that some of the generals in the IRGC are saying they're going to have a significant response. So I think this is the best source, honestly, right now. It remains unclear if they're going to choose to retaliate, because once again, Iran may be pulling a side of their own, and we really don't know what they plan to do until time will actually show what they intend to do. So we'll have to wait on that one. But nonetheless, we have one more post here to cover, and we're also hearing from the IDF about what's going to happen if Iran makes the mistake of starting a new round of escalation. And we have gotten confirmation from the IDF that the IDF will indeed respond 100% and very forcefully if Iran does start that new round of escalation. So once again, visual confirmation from the IDF official himself, the spokesman, saying that they will respond and take this to the next level if Iran decides to keep playing ball. So right now, the ball is certainly in Iran's court, and we're waiting to see how they're going to react to this recent attack by Israel. And with that, that is actually our last post of the day, and today's already been a wild news day already, and it's only 12 p.m. Central Time here at Enforcer HQ, and it is already going off the rails with the news. So tonight is going to be another crazy night of war news streaming, so be sure to join us at 10 p.m. Eastern to cover the remaining news that exists throughout the day. Also, be sure to press the like and subscribe to the channel as well to help us get this news out even faster to everyone who's subscribed, because that's a great assistance to our channel, and we appreciate it very much. We love to know y'all love these short war video reports and also the live stream reporting, and that makes us even encouraged to do more, so we appreciate it very much. And also, if you do want to support our channel financially, you can go to our Patreon page, and the link is in the description below for Patreon, where you can go over there and sign up for a monthly membership and support the channel that way, which is a very big help because we're largely crowdfunded by the viewers, and it's you, the viewers, that make all this possible. But once again, thank you all for watching. We'll see you all tonight, and we'll see you then, and bye-bye for now.